Alright, today the Driveway Assassin is going to show you how to take the thermostat, put a new thermostat in Cadillac and Cadillacs from 1968 to 1979 that have the air conditioner or the air compressor over the thermostat housing. Now I've already took it in the loose. You're going to need a 9/16 standard socket, and you're going to need a 1/2 inch standard socket. There's a bolt here. Unloosen it. There's a bolt. Let me get my screwdriver. And there's a bolt right there. Unloosen it. You got 2 bolts in the back. They're easy to get to. You got a bolt right here, right there on that bracket, and then you have a bolt right there. Can you see it? On that bracket. Just them 2. 1, 2, and then the one I showed you right there, and then the one I showed you on this side here. Once this compressor is down, you're not going to be able to get to this back bolt right here, the thermostat housing. You don't have to, what you don't have to do, you don't have to take this unit off right here. You don't have to take this off, which is these compressor hoses that runs into the into this thing here. I used to know the name of all this stuff. I used to know the name of it. It's a refrigeration unit. You don't have to take this off. Then what you want to do, you don't have to take this belt off. Once you take the bolt off from here, the bolt off from there, and the other 2, just lift it up. And you want to lift it. You want to lift it out the way. What I did was I just took a can of paint so I can hold, so the paint would just hold this up. Lift it up just enough for me to get my ratchet down there. And what I was able to get down there, because you got this plug in the way here, you want to use the 1/4 inch drive. Your 1/4 inch drive socket with a 1/2 inch deep well. You got plenty of room once you lift this out the way. Now, there's always a bolt that want to give you some trouble, because you do not want to snap them bolts. You do not want to snap that off, because if you snap it off, now you got another problem. You don't want to do that. So what I do is I use those propane heaters. I use the gas one. The one in the yellow cylinder heats up hotter. And then what I do is I just heated that bolt up that was right here that wants to give me some trouble. This one was easy to come off. I heated this one up here. I moved this wire here. I moved this wire out the way. There's another connection. Well, I didn't have to move this out the way. I moved the PCV valve hose just out of the way. And there's another connection right here. This wire that connects right there. I moved that out the way. Just move it out the way. Yep, just move it out the way. And you're going to need probably an extension bar. Something to give you some leverage in case you're not able to, when you put the socket, when you put the wrench on here and you try to turn it, sometimes, even right here, sometimes you need a little leverage to unloosen the bolt. So I got a couple poles. Anytime I find a pole, with a hole in it, I use it as a leverage. And then you got this hose right here, which connects right there. Get your memory together, because sometimes that memory is a killer. I tell you, that memory is a killer. Yep. So once you lift this up, now it's pretty easy to change the thermostat. Now the reason why I knew I needed to change the thermostat is that when the engine was cool, the car fires right up, no problem. You know, drive around. Of course, the engine's going to heat up, but the thermostat allows the coolant to pass through. So when I would shut it off, I would get this rrr, rrr, rrr. Back in the 60s and the 70s, it was pretty easy to troubleshoot issues with the vehicles, because Detroit wasn't going crazy then in their designing of the engines. And usually back in the day, when something was going on, you only had a couple possible symptoms to solve the problem. Meaning that if your car overheated, it either was a thermostat, you had a leaking water pump, or leaking radiator. It was just real simple. Now, of course, with the newer cars, you could have something you think is minor, and it has 15 different symptoms, and you got to troubleshoot all 15 of them, which is why I don't buy new cars. I don't have time for. I'm not trying to make the dealership profitable. I'm not trying to make them rich off of my ignorance. So I'm gonna put this thermostat on. I cleaned it up already. I already cleaned up the housing. I'll put the gasket on, put this back together, and thank you for watching my tutorial. All right, thank you. Okay, I'm back in the evening. I'm done setting this air compressor, or this compressor down, the air conditioning compressor. And so there's the one bolt that's here, and you're gonna need some needle nose, long needle nose pliers to get down here and to get this. Once you unloosen this nut, your fingers are not going to be able to get down there, so you're going to have to take some needle nose pliers and lift the screw up. Oh, I tell you, General Motors they wasn't as nuts with the engineering as they was back as they are now, but this is still tedious. You're going to have to remove the vacuum advance hose right here, because this is the vacuum advance right there. You got to remove this. You got to move these lines. You got to push them out the way. Push these lines out the way. So that's that side. Okay. And so I'm going to tighten the bolt down on this side here. And you're going to need two extensions. You're going to need a long extension and a short extension so you can clear the compressor. Okay, so put a little bit of power on it to hold it in place. Then you got the two screws, which is right. You got the screw, which is right there. Let me show you, which is right there. Okay, that's easy to get to. So, here I'm gonna put this camera down, and I'm gonna come back with the finish. Okay. Conclusion, we're finished, we're done. That's how I look at it. I'm not gonna pay you to do some things I could do myself, and then there are some things I will pay you, if the car has boiling air. Okay, so I'm finna put a little bit more antifreeze in, and fire it up. And so this is when you know you need a thermostat. The top hose, after you run the car, if you can't squeeze it like this, it means you need to change the thermostat. Because what's happening is that the thermostat's not opening up to allow the antifreeze to flow through to the radiator for the radiator to cool off the antifreeze or the coolant to send it back through the engine. So if after you run the car and you can't squeeze the hose like this, it means that the thermostat is plugged up, stopped up, and not allowing the antifreeze to flow through. And the reason it gets tight, the engine is getting hot.